Hello grapplers, how you doing? It's me, Carplank, and I'm back again with a new video about why are you losing in Street Fighter 6. I want to tell you about this so I can help you in a way to steer your game plan in the right direction. So a lot of things I'm going to say in this video are maybe not necessarily related directly to how you feel about the game. They could help you somewhat to not even improve your Zangief. You can use this to maybe improve your other characters as well. Specifically with Zangief, I've seen a lot of players struggling with how to whiff punish. Zangief is a very good whiff punisher in this game. The problem is that he doesn't get a lot out of his whiff punishers, but he does have some that are very useful in the neutral. We're gonna use 3 buttons here. The first one is standing medium punch, the classic. This is a great button. It loses if you don't use it correctly, it loses to drive impact, so be careful about that. Most of the time you're just gonna hit them with just one standing medium punch. The other button is sweep. Now sweep, you have to use it very carefully. It's -13, so a lot of characters can punish you somehow, not necessarily by sweeping you. Some can even super. However, this is one of your best whiff punishers. 12 frames, so it's kinda slow. You can use it to whiff punish because the range is actually pretty good. So if for some reason someone whiffs a button and you're not quite sure what could hit them, usually sweep is a good idea, and you can use it to get in with a knee or dash after it. And the final button is standing light kick. This allows you to go into a combo. If you do a counter hit or a punish counter, you can go into crouching medium punch and do even more damage. Those are your main buttons. That doesn't mean you're gonna use headbutt or other buttons that Zangief has, but those 3 are gonna be the ones that you're gonna use most in the neutral when you're far from the opponent. When you're close, you can use other things like headbutt again, crouching medium punch, standing light punch, and so on and so on. A lot of players, especially new Zangief players in this case, like to get in, you do SPDs, and struggle when hitting people from here, which, to be honest, is the, I guess, 80% of the entire fight. You're gonna be here. You're not necessarily gonna be up close unless you actually grab someone with Spine Buster or have them in the corner and do Lariat. The second point is spacing. Now, spacing is, I do have a little list. Spacing is a thing that I feel is one of the most important things to do with Zangief. He's actually pretty good at spacing himself with some buttons. You need to use a lot, and I mean a lot, of standing light punch. Now, why is standing light punch so good? First of all, it is +2, which is pretty awesome. But as you can see here, Zangief gets away from the opponent. So you're +2, but you get away. Now, the most common string you're going to use is crouching light kick into standing light punch. And as you can see here, this spaces Zangief very good. If you do this, you'll see that button whiffs. That is pretty important, because then you can whiff punish with a lot of buttons. You can SPD, standing medium punch. In some cases, crouching medium punch, that is very specific, or even headbutt. Now, this is not the only way you can space yourself. You can also use crouching light punch. As you can see here, pretty well spaced. Or you can even use 2 standing light punches, and you're still in range to whiff punish someone. You can use 1 and you still space yourself pretty well. You can also space yourself with other buttons like this string. As you can see here, look, still whiffs. He is 4-framer, so be careful about that. At the end of the day, you need to know how you space yourself around with Zangief, because if you're well spaced, you can punish with the standing medium punch target combo or even headbutt. In order to complement standing light punch, I mentioned this in the headbutt video. Headbutt takes the Zangief's hurtbox a little bit back. Now, that is not the only move that does that. The other one is actually standing medium punch. and also slightly charged standing hard punch. So keep those in mind in case you want to whiff punish people like here. This one in particular is pretty strange. You need to train with this button because you can actually escape from really strange situations with this one. How can I describe this? I've seen a lot of people that really want to win in this game, but they're not willing to check the frame data or the frame data. I don't have any tips here. You just need to go to a web page that has the frame data or frame data of your character. FAT. You can check Street Fighter 6 right here, or all of these games. You can download this one on your phone. You need to learn this at some point. Maybe not all of it, because it is pretty huge, but you need to learn at least how minus some buttons are, like the -4s could be punished by lights depending on the spacing. You need to know how these buttons interact with your character, and not only the buttons, also the drive system, like how it operates, how fast the characters walk. All of this is very important to know how you can punish your character, the opponent's character, and how to use your own character. So all of this is pretty significant. With every character in the game, you need to have a game plan, which basically means what I'm going to do during the fight. Some characters might need to zone with buttons or zone with fireballs and try to break the opponent, make the opponent jump so they can anti-air. If you play randomly, you're gonna win some matches, but at some point you're gonna fight someone that is experienced and has a game plan to counter the randomness of your character. So what do I mean by this? Let's say, for example, you want to poke with Zangief. First of all, you need to know which buttons to use when poking. Maybe these two. And your idea is to take the opponent to the corner by just pushing buttons and maybe walk them to the corner. Makes sense. That is your game plan. And once you're in the corner, you're gonna use grabs, since you know their only options are jumping or backdashing. So since you know those are the only two options, maybe you want to test with 2 blocked lights and see what they do. That is your game plan. And if they don't do anything that can punish you, you can do a speed. That is your game plan. During a fight, you might need to alter that or react to something. So you need to have a game plan that actually covers certain situations. Imagine this like a map of your reactions. Like, if they do something, I'm gonna counter with this. If they don't, I'm gonna keep doing this that is actually working. So keep that in mind, develop your own game plan and see how you can apply it, with what buttons you need to apply it, and how you generally want to push it. That is very important. And also recognize the patterns of your opponent, which also makes sense if they're maybe trying to do a more zoned, focused game plan. So keep that in mind. That is very important. You need to have that with your characters. In the case of Zangief, surprisingly, you can do an entire game plan without actually grabbing the opponent. So take that into consideration for whatever you want to do with Zangief. The other one that is actually also pretty important is not training correctly. I've seen a lot of players that go into training mode and they just want to do combos, which is fine. I mean, there are some combos you need to practice, but you need to use training as a way of learning new situations. What can you do if something happens? For example, what happens if you get a punish counter sweep? Since you're whiff punishing with sweep, maybe some lights. So what do you do after it? What can you do to secure yourself your pressure, basically? What do you do? What happens if you do knee? How close you are? Plus 11. That means you can use headbutt to catch a 4-framer, for example. What happens if you dash instead? Plus 21. So what do you do to kill more frames? Catching light punch? You're plus 8 now, which means with a plus 8 you can do a meaty Russian suplex. And also check your replays. I know it's hard. Check your losses, check your wins, check everything. Check other players, how they win, how they lose, and compare to what you're actually doing, so you can actually get better and better with time. I've seen a lot of bad takes either bad takes, fake information, or assumptions about elements in this game. I've seen things like whenever this character dry brushes, that character hides their hurt box, or this is not actually punishable by this character, so on and so on. My biggest advice here is just for you to go into training mode and check if that is actually true. And also check the hurt boxes, like the website we were seeing a few seconds ago. Check the hurt boxes. Is that actually true? If they do that in particular, do they hide their hurt box? Do that happens, or whatever that is? Check the information. Test it for yourself. Don't keep the random knowledge on the internet. Test that. And you'll see if that actually applies to you or it doesn't. And you'll see that a lot of weird takes are going on inside the fighting game community, especially from people that are actually salty about the game. So keep that in mind too. So take everything with a grain of salt. Test it for yourself, and you'll see if that actually works. So don't believe everything you read on the internet, okay? Maybe the characters are not for you. Maybe you don't feel comfortable playing the game. You need to understand that you don't have to play this game. There are other fighting games. So at some point you have to think and recognize if you're actually having fun with this game. And that is basically what video games are about, right? Having fun. It's not like we are lacking fighting games. And also that is important. Maybe you're actually liking this game a lot, but you don't gel. You don't gel with Zangief. You don't feel comfortable playing this character. So you might need to try another one. You might play with Marisa, Manon, Luke. You do have more characters. Don't feel like you're contrived to just one character. Play other characters in order to know if they're really for you. They're in a style you actually like. So don't push yourself. Remember, having fun is the most important thing to do here. And I know, some people will tell you that don't use this character. He or she is too OP. Why are you winning with that specific character? It's so easy to play, but that doesn't matter. If you're having fun, that is what's important. So keep that in mind when you're playing this game or any fighting game. Don't fall into that. That is not bueno. I know a lot of people want to know how to keep the pressure with Zangief. I'm gonna do that, so don't worry. But I just wanted to make a video about this, even though it's a little bit random. Okay, so I hope this helps you in any way. Thank you for being here. Take care, grapplers, and I'll see you in the future with more Zangief tech. Take care.
Feeling nervous?